Hi, this is Dave George with Seniors Marketing Academy, and today we're going to take a look at How to Cheat at Selling by Trevor Emdon. The premise of this training is to see what your competitors are doing and learn how to do the same thing. Now I'm going to show you inside the members area and see if this sales page delivers on its promises. But speaking of deliver, check out the link in the description below for some free training to build your own online business. Also, let me know in the comments below what is your biggest obstacle to getting started online. Okay, now here we are in the members area. This is the welcome page after you log in for the first time. You can see the course menu and each of the different steps that he offers here. And of course the name of it and your login, logout details. In his first video, he just introduces himself a little bit. He goes into who he is and what he's all about. Basically, he's trained as a psychotherapist, and he actually does have a presence on Facebook. Here's a quick look at that so you can see what I'm referring to. He bills himself as a success coach, and he's been around for quite a while. He's also done some internet products here and there, but he's not one of those people you would consider a constant marketer. He's not putting out products left and right all the time. And his products are pretty straightforward, very easy to watch, not a lot of fluff to it, as you're going to see here in a minute. Okay, here we are back in the members page. And the first video, basically, like I said, it has to do with learning more about who Trevor is. And then you get into the substance of the training itself. Every section, and there's 10 of them, are pretty short. There's one that's 17 minutes. But you're going to find when you listen to these videos, Trevor has a nice easygoing style. It's like sitting there with someone at a pub somewhere talking about what's going on in internet marketing and tips he's learned. So it's a nice, easy way of listening to him. I found myself just enjoying the conversation, even though some of those are longer, because usually my patience runs out pretty quickly, especially if it's not moving at a fast pace and I'm not getting a lot out of it. But that's because he doesn't have a lot of fluff in any of these videos. So that's a good part of this training right off the bat. And he gets into the very beginning, the truth about competition. When it comes to competition, is high competition good? Is low competition good? What is the difference between the two and what value either one of them has? Then you get into the second one where he gets into how to use a competitor sales page as a cheat sheet. And this goes back into the premise of the actual training itself, where you're going into and talking about what you can do, what you can find in a competitor's product or their sales page, and basically get ideas for when you're presenting your own. Then he gets into how to apply the pleasure pain principle, and this is pretty good. He gets into the fact that everybody has pleasure and pain points that you can use to promote the product you're trying to sell. And then ramping up desire. This is actually one of the longest videos in here, but there's a lot of good information in here. He starts about talking about your hook, your headlines. You don't have to be like a master of psychology to know what to do in here. And and he talks about different results, bullet points to focus on that you should be using when you're promoting a product. And he even recommends a book that's very well known. It's an excellent book if you ever have a chance to see it, and he mentions it in the video. Now, when it comes to resistance handling, how to handle those pesky objections. And he gets into that. He talks about the 5 universal objections. And he goes into how you should respond to those objections and what you should do when you run across those. Then he gets into social proof, where you're asking for testimonials from different people until you build a following of your own. He gets into some ideas about the best way to build up your business from that angle. Then he gets into how stories sell. But you have to also have fact-based stories. You don't want to sit there and make up stories, but you can use stories to promote, to get people to empathize with you or get into how you're feeling or how they're feeling by telling stories. Now, call to actions, it's pretty much as you would imagine it is. You don't want to tell them what to do. You don't want to give them options. You want to go in and say, this is what you need to do. If you're going to do this today, that kind of thing. Typical calls of action. But again, if you're fairly new, this is some good advice for you. Now, number 9, this is the longest video in the whole package. It's right at under 18 minutes. But again, it gets into value, gets into results, talks about market and so on. So there's a lot of good information in here for you to look at. And then number 10 is the extra tips. Now this one, there's a couple things in here, and I'm going to talk about it more in a minute. And this is one of the things I want to talk about. When I first bought this training, and yes, I did buy it. This is not a review video or copy that you're seeing. There were a whole lot of glitches here in this training. And the last one that still has not been fixed is this one. So if I go to 10 extra tips, he goes into a little bit here, and then he goes into a video that's done by another video marketer or another marketer. Then here you see lesson 10 again and 10 extra tips, where to go from here, the evergreen principles that will always sell and more. And here's the downloads. Now when I go to the download, watch what happens. It asks me to sign into AWS. Okay, so it doesn't take me to where I need to go. Now, as of this recording, this program's been out for 2 days. And so this is something that should have been fixed by now. I'm not sure what the issue is or why it hasn't been fixed. I haven't reached out to the product owner yet, but I'm going to after I record this. And I'll be honest with you, that was another issue I ran into that I did end up reaching out to him before. I found that if I watched some of the training but then had to walk away for a while and try to come back into it, normally when that happens, either you can go right back to where you left off, or it logs you out because it timed out, and then there's a login page that you just log back in and you're back into where you were. Well, in this case, that was broken, and it took me to a Profit Builder, I think it was called, but it was all jumbled up. So I did reach out to the vendor at that time, and one thing I did is I also put in when I log in, they'll remember me for 2 weeks, and that seemed to solve the problem. The other issue I had is I stepped away from one of the videos for about 5 minutes, came back, and the sound was still there, but the picture was gone. So every now and then there was glitches in this training package, which was a little annoying, okay, because you expect something to be working properly, especially from an experienced marketer who uses pretty much the same format for every training he uses. So I'm not sure why this was an issue, but it was, and it was kind of annoying. But overall, what I have to say is this training is pretty good. It gives you a lot of good advice. It's not going to be earth-shattering. You're not going to sit there and say, okay, because I did this, I'm going to make $1 million tomorrow. And he's not using that as a premise, but he's giving you some good solid tips that you can use over and over again. It's something that you can use in your bucket of knowledge. Bookmark the training so that you can go back to and look at it again every now and then, because it's good reminders for things you should watch out for. So that's my review on how to cheat at selling. Now, if you like this video, please click the subscribe button below and ring the bell. And as I mentioned earlier, check out the link in the description for some free training to build your own online business. And as I mentioned again, let me know in the comments section, one, what you thought of this video. If you did purchase this, what you thought of it. And if there's anything that you'd like to talk about, what your obstacles are for getting started online. Again, this is Dave George at Seniors Marketing Academy. Take care, everybody.